All right.
Yes, everyone. I'm joined with Stephen today, who's one of the coaches inside TTT Fitness. And just before we jump into everything, I just want Stephen, just introduce yourself and tell everyone a bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, awesome, man. So first of all, my name is Steven. I'm based over here in Philadelphia, PA. I am Dominican, by the way, so I'm from the Caribbean. I'm obviously super passionate about what I do, and it's a pleasure to be here, of course.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here, bro. I mean, for everyone, obviously, who's probably watching this, are probably struggling with long hours, working long hours, back pain, they're overweight, or they want to get fit and basically lose that weight, right? And that's, to be honest, that's what most people come to TTT Fitness for, which is great, right? Because a lot of people nowadays are just very overweight and they don't like the way they
Yeah.
look at themselves in the mirror, and things like that, right? But I mean, Stephen, obviously, look, I mean, obviously you're one of the coaches inside TTT Fitness, and you're a big part of it, bro. You're a big part of it. But I mean, what's your upbringing been like, bro? What's the upbringing been like?
Yeah, so I mean, like obviously we all have like our own journeys and whatnot, and when you really think about it, uh, me and you kind of had like different transformations, right? Like
Yeah,
we're pretty much like two separate ends of a rope because I actually came from like being a bit more overweight as opposed to you, where you were like, struggling to put on weight. So for me personally, I used to actually be nearly 200 pounds, which is like around 85 kg, right? And I mean, I was like 14 years old, like 5'7", right? Like super overweight. And so I struggled a lot with like confidence, all this other stuff, right? So really, the biggest problem for me when it came to obviously getting in shape was really what a lot of like older men kind of struggle with now. And it's like I said, the confidence and really just getting the motivation to obviously just getting started, right? Like I would be going to the gym maybe once or twice a week for like the first year or two of my fitness journey, right? When I actually wanted to lose weight, right? But none of it mattered, right? Like I was just making barely any progress.
yeah,
Why? Because like I didn't have anyone to push me there, right? Like I didn't have anywhere, or excuse me, anyone to kind of push me forward, right? And so the second I got someone who actually knew what they were doing to obviously guide me and to obviously take me more towards like where I wanted to be, to actually push me, hold me accountable, and obviously be that like beacon of guidance for me, right? Where I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, if that makes sense, right? That's when I actually started making some kind of progress, right? Like I started putting on some kind of muscle, right? I started losing some kind of weight, right? And so for you, I guess since like I said, we're like two opposite ends of a rope. What was it kind of like for you, like putting on like obviously weight when it was like
yeah.
very difficult for you. You were always playing football and whatnot. And so, it was like super hard for you to obviously put on muscle. What was that like for you?
So I mean, to be honest, like I know you were saying we're like totally different sides of the spectrum, but growing
Yeah.
up as well, like even myself, like I was very unconfident. I didn't like the way I looked. I wasn't like proud when I'd wake up in the morning. I wasn't proud of the way I saw myself, right? And obviously, I've noticed that with a lot of guys who join TT Fitness, and you've noticed it as well, Stephen, probably is a lot of people are unconfident and afraid to look at themselves in the mirror, go to the gym, and just start, right? But I mean, one thing that got me through it, and I've said this multiple times before, it's like, it's just getting going, it's getting that support, right? Like you said, Stephen, as soon as you got that extra support and you got that one-to-one support, you obviously lost. How much weight did you lose?
Man, so I mean, I'm like 165 right now, 165 pounds. I'm not sure how much that's in like kg. I think it's like around 60, 70 or something like that. So I lost
Yeah,
like maybe like about like 15 to 20 kg or so.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was
yeah.
it was a pretty decent transformation,
That's good.
considering that I'm not like super tall or anything.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean that's like one of the guys in TC Fitness at the moment. I mean Pascal, he's been absolutely
Yeah,
smashing.
yeah.
He's down 20 kg in the last 3 months. I mean he messaged me the other
Incredible.
day and I've put it on my story. There's some testimonials on there about it, but like his doctor said to him that he's never seen anything like it in 25 years of her career. Like, that shows right there that with the right support, the right guidance, you can genuinely save someone's life. Like, I mean, I didn't literally save his life, but if he kept going down the path he was going down, then there was a very, very, very high chance of something happening that's health related down the line, and which is
Yeah.
why it's so important. And you've probably noticed it as well, Stephen. Losing that weight, building a better
Mhm.
physique than you had before has improved your confidence, your health, your energy levels. You know what I mean? And I mean, how's that been? Obviously, working because you do work a lot as well. We work together, sort of thing. So I
Yeah.
mean, how has it helped with energy and being able to push forward, bro?
Well, right. I mean, obviously, on top of like me gaining so much more confident in just like the way I look, the way I kind of go about like myself, just in general, right?
Mm.
I feel way better, right? Just when I wake up in the morning to when I go to sleep, like everything about my day has been so much better ever since I started prioritizing, like obviously being in shape in my health and whatnot, right? Like I know that's very vague, right? But to give you some examples, right? Like before, I would literally just wake up, stay in bed for an hour because like my energy levels were so low, right? And I
Yeah.
was just like so miserable about the way I looked, about just having to wake up every day in a body that like I wasn't happy with, right?
Mm.
That like it would affect my day, right? Before even starting it in a sense, right? And it's like
Yeah.
I know just how bad it can be, right? Like maybe it's not as bad for like other men, right? Like some people have been in this like, situation for so much time that they don't see a problem in it, you know? And so you said something earlier that kind of interested me as well, that like kind of piqued my interest, and it was that you feel like you didn't really save his life, right? Because I kind of agree with you there because in a sense we like literally don't like actually do anything like extraordinary in a sense because no like nothing can change unless the person who actually decides or who wants to change actually makes that change for themselves, right? Meaning that you do not have to stay in this like in this body that you're not comfortable with, you do not have to stay in this position, right? It is completely up to you whether or not you want to make that decision, meaning that like we can give you everything you need, or just anyone in general. You can get all the information, the diet, even like the workout plan, like everything could be put right there in front of you. But if you don't decide to make a change, nothing is going to happen, right? Absolutely nothing. And I had to learn that from experience, really, because it's like it just goes to that back to that saying that goes, goals without like any kind of commitment are literally just dreams. Nothing is going to change, right? And you're going to be stuck in the exact same situation. And so obviously once you get to like a certain age, right, where you're like uh past your 30s, right? Maybe even past your 40s and 50s, like it just gets harder and harder and harder, right? You keep putting it off, you keep putting it off because let's say maybe your family is obviously like um one of the things that you're prioritizing at the moment, maybe even your job as well. Like there's just so many different things, right?
Yeah.
But the more you put it off, the less likely you are to obviously do it, and it's not even because of fear. It's just like a law of the universe. The more you put something off, the less likely you are to do it. And so,
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
yeah, like in my opinion, the most important thing is literally just taking that step forward as soon as possible, right? With
Mm.
something that you're confident in, right? And so, I guess in your opinion, what kind of advice would you give to obviously like older men who have been putting this off obviously for like years and years, maybe even decades, right? Because I mean, I've spoken to people who have obviously kind of like put this off for decades even, believe it or not. So what kind of advice would you give to, these older men who are obviously like seeking for a way to change, but obviously can't really do it themselves?
So I mean, with all of my clients and everyone I work with, we work in three
Mm-hmm.
phases, right? So phase one is
Mm-hmm.
all about just building rhythm, right? So phase one is about building rhythm and just getting into a routine because once you're in a routine, then it becomes easy. Like right now, I mean, when I first started going to the gym, the hardest challenge was just getting to the gym. And that's what a lot of people do struggle with right now is waking up every morning, every day, or getting back from a long day of work where
Yeah.
they've been working all day. They get back, it might be dark depending on what time of the year, but like it's
Yeah.
just getting there. It's just getting there. So a few things that can really help shift your mindset and get you moving forward is small things, like generally the small things like packing your bags, bringing your clothes with you. You know what I mean? And I mean, from experience as well, once you've built that consistency, and like you don't even have to like chuck yourself in the deep end straight away, right? You don't have to chuck yourself in the deep end. You can like at least just get to the gym to start off. Like one of my clients I'm working with right now very closely with is like he has a family, he has two kids, he works in London, he has to travel an hour every day to 2 hours to get to work, right? By the time he gets back, it's quite late, he's tired, doesn't really want to go to the gym. But what we've done with him to get him past that stage is just getting there. Even if it's like a 15-minute swim, right? 15 minutes on the bike, just something to kind of start programming your mind in order to move forward and get to where you want to get to. Right, and I mean,
Mm.
look, it can be hard. It's easier said than done, but with the right support and that accountability, which is what TTT Fitness brings as well. Like we have accountability coaches. I check in with everyone, and like we're all there for you. So, like you said earlier, Stephen, it was like, yeah, in the end of the day, it's up to you, but we are still there to support you
Yeah.
throughout that
Of
whole
course.
journey. Right, even
Hmm.
on those days we can't see you logging in your stuff, we will message you, we will message them and like figure out, all right, why is John not put his workout in today? What's going on? Let's check in with him, sort of thing. And that's
Hmm.
something that's also part of the program because accountability, at the end of the day, is what most people want, especially if they're not in the gym right now. They need someone to just give them that push each day, right? And that's something
Yeah.
that we do, bro. And I mean, obviously, how's like must have been a lot of trial and error, I'm guessing, going into and losing this weight, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, from your experience, Stephen, how's it been like work wise, and
Yeah.
just life in general? How's life felt after losing all this weight and taking
Yeah.
fitness more seriously?
Yeah. So I mean, like before I even get into that, like I will say, like obviously where I'm at now is I feel like a completely different person, right? But the hardest part about it all, just literally getting to where I'm at now, the hardest part of it was getting started. It's kind of like you mentioned before, getting started was the hardest part, just showing up to the gym, right? But it's like when you keep showing up, right? Like there's this time period, right, where it's gonna feel impossible, right? But there's this saying that goes like once you do something consistently for 60 days, it just becomes a habit, right? It
Mm.
literally just becomes a habit, and then at the end of the day, it could even become an addiction, whether it's a good one or it's a bad one, right? And so for me, after I started showing up consistently for several weeks, right? It had been about 3 months or so, right? I was taking the bus actually when I first kind of started falling in love with the gym, right? I was taking the bus hour and a half to
Mm.
and from every single time, two buses, right? But I literally, like, I just showed up no matter what, right? And that's what mattered because that, like I said, the most like difficult part was literally just showing up in the beginning, right? Going when I didn't feel like going, right?
Mm.
Like showing up even after like college, right? And then working my 9 to 5. Like it was just so hard. I was miserable, right?
Mm.
But as soon as I started showing up every single day, even on those days that I didn't want to, I did whatever it took to obviously show up. That was what obviously was like most important to me because what really matters is where your priorities lay at. That's what's most important, like where your priorities lay at and what you actually want to make out of it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like if your goal is to obviously lose weight and put on muscle, right? If your priorities aren't at where they need to be, which is like showing up to the gym, eating what you need to eat, obviously getting the help you need, which is the most obviously probably like the second most important thing besides like showing up to the gym, then you're nothing is gonna happen, right? Like nothing is gonna change, right? Like I said
I
before,
agree.
that's ultimately what's gonna happen. But going back to what you said earlier, obviously now I feel like a completely different person, right? Like after like losing so much weight, having like a complete transformation about the way I look, right? And it's just like it's an amazing thing,
You're like,
honestly.
yeah,
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 it's like the fruits of your labor, right? Enjoying the fruits of your
yeah.
labor.
Yeah,
Um,
no, 100%. I mean, as well as that, it's like obviously when you're working your 9 to 5 and things like even with myself, right? I like some days it's like I'm sitting at my desk for a long day, and I know we're quite young still compared to others who are probably watching this,
yeah.
but even
Hmm.
people I've worked with, I mean, how's because obviously look, lower back pain is a big issue in this day and age, especially
Hmm.
if you're working a nine to
That
five, you
is
sit
true.
at your desk a lot, and like you just because realistically nowadays it's very hard to balance, have a healthy lifestyle, balance your 9 to 5, especially if you're sitting at a desk all day, look after your kids, look after your family, and be healthy and get fit, right? So I mean, because I mean, back pain is like probably one of the worst pains out there, and I
Yeah.
mean, especially when you're sitting at a desk all day, it does not help, right? But I mean, from like with yourself, Stephen, obviously working your 9 to 5 and stuff like that. What did you kind of do in order to kind of get around that? And because I mean, at the end of the day as well, look, it's around 20 years old, but a lot of people think when they come into like the program, they think they need to be
Yeah.
training like a 20-year-old, but you
No.
don't. You don't. You need like with a lot of my clients anyway, in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, right? All they need and what they get is something personalized for themselves, tailored, safe as well, right? Mobility and strength that basically reduces that pain, like pain free, right? But I mean, with yourself,
Yeah.
Stephen, how's that been like trying to juggle your 9 to 5 with your health? Because obviously, I know you had to travel a lot, but how did you kind of find that balance?
Yeah. So I mean, like while I was working and also going to college as well, right? Like I was spending maybe around like 10 hours or so, 10 to 12 hours honestly of my day literally just working and working and working, right? And so in the beginning, obviously, like I said before, it's the hardest part, but once I actually started like incorporating like certain things into my life, which would kind of like force me to go to the gym, right? Like I would say, oh, if I don't go to the gym this many for this amount of time, this many times a week, then I'm not getting any closer to my goals, right? Like I would set smaller goals. Like obviously the bigger goal was to lose weight, but it's like what you said earlier. It's about kind of like setting the bigger goal into smaller phases, right? It's just easing into it, right? Because it's like if you start playing football, right? You're not gonna get trained like a 20 like a 20-year-old veteran, right? Like maybe Ronaldo 20 years after he's been playing in the leagues, right? You're gonna start getting trained like someone who's like new to the game, right? New who's obviously like learning the ins and outs, who's learning the fundamentals, right? And so it's the same thing with this. I like to cycle a lot, right? I used to ride the bike all the time, right? I am from Philadelphia, right? I would cycle all the time. So what I did was I literally just started cycling
Mm.
bit by bit. That's what I started doing, and I would do at home workouts as well. I actually didn't go to the gym for like the first couple of months, maybe like the 3 months or so, but I would cycle and I would just do like 30-minute workouts at home. Like that's it. I would struggle like crazy, right? But like I obviously got it done. Like I got it done. I would do it, but I eased into it. Like I didn't just show up to the gym and start doing like a bro split or something, right?
Yeah,
Like an Arnold split, you know?
yeah,
So that's what's most important. Like if you're obviously a super busy guy, right? And you're even experiencing back pain, kind of like Jack said, like all these different kinds of issues as well. The most important part is just like easing into it because some people will try to get you to just jump like straight into the deep end, right? And like that's the worst thing you could do. The
mm,
worst thing, right? And like I said, like I knew that from experience because I like obviously tried going to the gym before, like just straight up like that, like
yeah,
starting off, and then I hated it, right? And so just easing into it is like the most important part, right? Like making sure you're enjoying it in the beginning so that you can enjoy it later on once you start going like a little bit harder in the gym, right? And
yeah.
so yeah, so I guess like for you, Jack, like I know obviously you kind of like focused on soccer a lot, or I know you guys call it football, but we call it soccer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You obviously focused on soccer a lot, right? And you've been playing for a long time. I know that. What was that like? Like obviously incorporating like going into the gym, putting on weight and stuff like that. Because I mean, frankly, I put on weight as well, but I don't really know what it's like to do it from like
Yeah.
a standpoint where it's like a struggle to put on weight,
So I
right?
mean, to be honest, my main struggle, because I had that support and I
Mhm.
invested in myself, putting on weight and putting on muscle, once I got the right information wasn't hard, right? But I needed
Yeah.
that one-to-one support, that structure, that accountability. And as soon as I got that, that's when I literally went from here to there. Like, I mean, when I was doing it by myself for around a year, I did it. I went to the gym, I did home stuff, I did bits and pieces here and there. I was doing it for about a year by myself. But as soon as I got the right information for
Yeah.
myself, I saw more results in like 3 months than I did in the whole 12 months. It was crazy, honestly
Same
crazy.
here.
But I think the main struggle that I had, and I feel a lot of people do have as well, is traveling too much, like the work-life balance sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do say I travel too much to stay consistent, right? And I totally agree. It is hard to stay consistent if you travel, but with the right guidance, with the right plan, you can do it. You can do it. I mean, I've literally got like people in my program who, uh, millionaires, business owners, traveling different countries like
Yeah.
every other month, sort of thing, or every
Mhm.
month, but they still see results because they have the right structure. They basically program their mind in order to make no excuses. So when they do get to the hotel that night, or from a long day of work, or they've gone out for dinner, or anything like that, they know they can get their stuff done at home or in that gym room or the gym
Mhm.
they've got access to because they have that one-to-one support and the structure built for them, right? And I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's about the systems to adapt to you as well, right? You need something that's very adaptable, which is what we give like everyone in the program. Like for example, I mean, with yourself, Stephen, it's like I guess some days it was you generally just couldn't get to the gym. I'm guessing because
Yeah.
you working long hours, right? And look, it's hard, but I mean, with obviously the way it works and stuff, you have let's say 2 to 3 days rest a week. Say you can't hit your gym session on a Wednesday, we can just move it up a few days. Like we can do the Wednesday session on the Saturday instead, sort of thing. As long as you
Yeah.
catch up, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. But I mean, how did you find dealing with that, Stephen? When like say you had something very busy on the schedule that day, you generally couldn't get to the gym or something. How did you kind of manage that?
Yeah. I mean, like even if I was on the go, like I wasn't at home, I didn't have access to to the gym. Like I still found a way to obviously just find 30 minutes of my time even before bed, like before taking a shower, right?
Mm.
Like I would just do a quick 30-minute workout, right? Like ab workout even. I would do maybe like I could barely do like 15, 10 push-ups, right? Like it was
Yeah.
barely anything, right? But what matters is that like it was something, right? Because at one point there was a point where like I couldn't do one, right? But I just kept at it. I kept at it, doing like these small like 30-minute interval workouts, right? But I literally just kept at it. That's what mattered, right? So I don't really think it's like too complicated, right? I guess it's just because like a problem is only as big as like your mind makes it out to be, right? Because it's like we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? Like I mean, like look at Elon Musk, right? Like Elon Musk, he has a multi-billion-dollar company, right? And he's making billions of dollars, right? But he still finds time of his day, out of his day to play games, to play video games, right? And so it's like if you're telling yourself you don't have 30 minutes to take out of your day to do 30 minutes of cardio or whatever, right? And just like sit down and burn some kind of calories because when you go down to the basics, it's literally just calories in, calories out, right? If you tell yourself like you don't have that, like then you're just pretty much like lying to yourself, right? And you literally just like don't want it enough, right? But it's all about getting in that mentality, right? Like that's the most important thing, and
Yeah.
the hardest part to overcome in the beginning is just the mentality, right?
No, exactly, exactly. And I mean, most men I speak to, and you probably speak to as well. who are in TT Fitness are all in the same boat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're busy, they're stressed, and they're very inconsistent. So
Hmm.
it's very normal to be in that boat. So I mean, if anyone who's like watching this right now, it's like it's normal, right? You're not the only one going through it, and like even myself, even yourself, Stephen, like everyone's been through it and are still probably going through it. But as
Yep.
you said there, like there's 24 hours in a day. You've got 20 minutes out that day to go and do something. You know, go and run a
Yeah.
3K, get 20 minutes of jogging in. You know what I mean? That just gets you set up for the rest of the day, right? And I mean, look, if you are older and there are things you probably can't do, then find something you can do. I mean, I've got guys in the program in their 50s, I think even early 60s as well, right? And they still manage to do something, even at their age, right? Because they're not making excuses and they're seeing results that way. So it's, it's very much like it's a mindset thing. And once you put your mind to something, you can do anything like myself, like
Sure.
yourself, Stephen. When you put
Yeah.
your mind to it, you lost that 15 to 20 kg of fat. You know what I mean? And it's the same here. When I put my mind to something, I built my dream physique. I built my brand. I built everything,
Yeah.
right? I started my own podcast. I did this, my clothing brand, and I help people do the same thing now. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, people like Pascal, for example, who you mentioned earlier, like he's like the last 3 months, like it's been crazy the results he's seen.
Yeah.
Plus, like Richard and Andreas and everyone else, right, who's in the program, right, they've already seen crazy results because as soon as they put their mind to it and they got that accountability and structure, they went
Just
to the
took
moon.
off.
They took off. They
Yeah.
took off straight away. I mean, first 30 days you're gonna see results as long as you lock in, as long as you lock in. And I mean, look, you don't have to accept feeling older than you are, right? It's about becoming the man you remember. Simple as that, right? It's about
Literally, yeah.
becoming the person you remember. So if you wanna be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you've done, then it's your choice. It's your choice to get this going.
Yep.
But I mean, look, if there's anyone who's watching this now and you guys are in the same boat or you need that help, that one-to-one support, look, then book that call with myself and Stephen, and we'll be here to support you guys throughout the whole way. Throughout the whole way. But I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
Stephen, have you got anything else you wanna end it on, bro? Anything else you wanna say?
No, nothing else from here other than really that once you start making decisions and acting like the person you want to be, that's when you're gonna become the person who you want to be. I think that's a good way to end it off.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Well, I mean, look, guys, if you're watching this and you want to get this going, then make sure to book a call, send me a message on Instagram, and yeah, Stephen or I will see you on that call, and we'll see you
Yes,
soon,
sir.
guys. So good luck, boys. Good luck.
I guess.